Welcome to the SNF Spotlight Series. I'm Yitz Rubin, your host, and this is sponsored by Renewal Rehab, the best therapy provider for SNFs nationwide. The Person of the Year award belongs to the many healthcare heroes that gave up of themselves to save lives and care for their patients in the thick of this global pandemic. We really appreciate what you've done, and words can't describe the gratitude that you so duly deserve. Today, I have the privilege to be speaking with Andrea Starr, one of the healthcare heroes of Renewal Rehab, working in Aperion Care Forest Park. She stepped up to the challenge, sacrificing much of herself to help her patients during one of the most challenging times in the history of mankind. Andrea, it's a pleasure to be speaking with you. Thank you so much. It's a real privilege and an honor. Can you tell us a little bit about you and your history?
Knew I wanted to be a therapist when I was in 8th grade. I've been playing softball my whole life, so doing something that combines my love of the human body, athletics, and also my passion for helping others, and especially the senior population. PT just became the best career option for me, and it's worked out really well so far. So,
what made you go into helping seniors?
So I've actually been working with seniors since I was about 6 years old. So I started about 20 years ago. My grandfather actually volunteers with PADS as well as Meals on Wheels and helps the senior community, even though he's a senior citizen himself. So I started off when I was a little kid going to deliver Meals on Wheels with him. And ever since then, I've just really, seen the impact that it can have helping out an underserved population.
Started working in Aperion Care Forest Park in September of 2019.
Correct.
Right out of college as the physical therapist there. How was it initially working there before COVID hit?
So initially, we had two major changes pretty much through a very short amount of time of me starting working. So I got licensed in August and then was able to start working in September. And then come October, there was the PDPM Medicare model change in payment. So went from working for about a month, having everything be set one way, to the following month have everything turned on its head. And then 4 months later, with COVID happening, everything turned completely on its head again. So it's definitely been interesting having to roll with the punches.
Would you say that they're still getting clinically proven results?
I would say so. I think if you ask any therapist in any kind of field, we would obviously love to have 60 to 75 minutes to be able to work with people. That's the dream, but I think it just really makes you focus a lot more on your time management and making the treatments that you are providing in that 30 minutes as efficacious as possible.
Once COVID hit, what changed in your role? I understand staffing, a lot of people were hit. Can you give us a little bit more information about what happened on the inside?
I would say not being able to use the gym on a regular basis was the biggest switch, as well as the time frame and everything too. But once we started taking COVID patients and had the COVID unit set up, the other big thing was managing, going between seeing non-COVID patients and COVID patients, trying to structure your day around making sure that you're entering and exiting the unit as few times as possible to avoid trying to spread or cross-contaminate anything.
You contracted COVID in the middle of the situation, and you stayed in and sacrificed during and stayed with your patients during this time while you were sick, didn't have as many symptoms, but sort of quarantined with your patients to take care of them this time. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we unfortunately had a fairly large outbreak starting at the beginning of November. Started to see a little bit of spike in cases, kind of every day we were seeing more and more patients getting it. And then, I myself tested positive on November 17th. And so, talking with my director and everything like that, they said, well, you can either take the workman's compensation, take the time off quarantine, do that, or if you're feeling okay, you can still continue to work in the COVID unit. A lot of times patients do better with consistency of care. So the people that I've been working with, if I were to just hop out and have somebody new take over, not like it would be the end of the world, but you're starting to build your plan and your rapport with these patients, and then to just kind of jump ship when I wasn't really feeling sick or anything didn't really seem fair to them. Like I said, I really prefer to be staying busy and helping out in every way that I can rather than just kicking back and watching Netflix for 2 weeks. It sounds nice in theory, but I think in practice it would not be not really be my cup of tea. So I had to keep everything separate. I had to document and do everything away from my team in a different room, like right outside the COVID unit. So that was a little bit of a change. With everything going on, if I can be there and play my role, then I'll do what I can do.
Thank you, Andrea. Your story is so inspirational. I really appreciate you joining us on the SNF Spotlight series, and thank you so much for your service.
Of course. Thank you for having me.